Sean Israel, Life Hacks. We're talking about what if you allow your future to define who you are rather than allowing your predictable past to continue to define who you are today and ultimately your future, right? And so this is a different approach, right? Because a lot of times we have been conditioned to use only the past and the history or our personal history to define who we are today and how our past, if not overly analyzed and studied, may repeat itself in our personal lives and thus recreating that in our future. But what have I said? That's a good concept, right? What have I said that like we cannot just throw that away, but we can add on to that and we can start to live present, right? But in the present moment or the present tense reality that we can start to think about in allowing our future to now define our thoughts, our ideas, our actions, behaviors, and even our language, right? To change us and ultimately change our personality that will then change our personal reality, right? So this is important that we get this and don't miss this because most of us don't know what we want our future to look like. And that's the challenge, right? So if I said to you, okay, so let's now start this path of this journey of being defined by our future. So what would your future look like? You want to be successful. Okay. So what does success look like for you? Unpack success for me. Literally, I want you to write this down. If not right now, in a moment, unpack what makes you happy. What would make you happy in the next 6 months, year from now, and moving forward in your life? Like, what does happiness define? Happiness, define success, define a loving partner. Because if we don't have these things, how are we ever going to get to it, right? Because it's important and it's necessary that you remember that your subconscious mind is steering your life 90% of the time. And 90% of your thoughts are old, washed up, entire thoughts that you've been thinking or you've allowed that moment in the past to define a belief system that is still operating you 6 years, 8 years, or 10 years to now, right? And until we become conscious of those things and actively and intentionally shift that way of thinking or say, I want a new belief and start to drive that new belief into our subconscious mind, right? And that's why we do affirmation, visualization, and things like that, is to really to reprogram our minds to react and to respond to a situation differently than we did in the past, or also rewriting that story. But it is important that today that you take the moment, that you honor yourself and you really close your eyes and begin to go within and to see what that future looks like. And as you give attention to that future, right? As you step into that possibility, that space of the infinite, that space of the unknown, right? Because the unknown, that's where the infinite possibilities are. That's also where our biggest fear is. So I want to caution you, young person, that whenever we step out of our comfort zone, our brain is to keep us safe, right? So our most primitive brain is our reptilian brain, and that is to self-preservate, is to keep us alive, keep us comfortable, so that we can move on and grow and evolve as a species, right? But as our frontal lobe, as we expanded in our evolution, that like our frontal lobe is, we can override that. We understand that like once I step out into this unknown area of life and finance or in partnership in business, that the fear, right? My brain is going to remind me, hey, you remember when you tried that when you were 14, that didn't work out? You remember that pain? You remember that hurt, that emotional suffering, right? You don't want to experience that anymore. But then you have to override that and remind yourself that I am more equipped today, I'm more supported today, I have more wisdom today, that I have more faith today, that I believe in myself more than I did then. And I not only have that, but I have the tools and resources and the equipment to move through those things. So I just want to encourage you to literally stop allowing your past to get your predictable past is that, right? To continue to define who you are today and start allowing this space of infinite possibilities and opportunities to now navigate and guide your actions, your words, how you see yourself, how you approach to life, how you respond to life, and how you respond to others, and yourself in it, right? And give yourself the grace, give yourself the mercy, give yourself fun and opportunity to just adventure out and try it, right? Become that child again and explore. Be excited about the unknown. Like when you were a child, right? And you went to school, you knew you were going to a trip and you didn't know how it was going to happen, but you couldn't sleep because you were so excited because it's unknown